I'm starting. Do I care? No. I'm starting. I have no idea who is here. Marco might be here actually, but I'm starting. Not caring. We're doing this. And I'm actually I just want to double check that things are working. Can you hear this? Let me see. Oh, we have to do some works here. So, well, nobody's here. All right. It's okay. It's okay. You can also not be here. It's no problem. But let me do this test first. Because, right, as I knew, you're not hearing this, which makes perfect sense. So, we are going to make sure that you can hear what I'm hearing before we start. So, I have a couple of choices to do this in here, but I am gonna do it from the print. You know what? We're gonna do it from the print. Do we dare? Yes, let's do it from the print. From the print. Here. You know. We connect to our LAN address. Getting doxxed as usual. Ooh, what? No. Here we go. Go. Okay. We mute them. Mute my streaming rig. We do this. And we should be kind of good to go because that's only sending stuff around. Let's see. Absolutely. We're rolling. But nobody's here and I am kind of like early. So that's okay. Let me just double check Discord. We're making fun of brands that we cannot name. No, we're not making fun of anybody. We're just talking about deals in hardware and stuff. And ooh. Okay. Doesn't matter. It's working. So, welcome everybody. This is the Thursday Mixdown, and I just double checked the number. I mean, I didn't do it now. I did it like 3-4 minutes ago, but it is episode 11. So we went after episode 10. Can you believe that? And also a few days ago, if you weren't checking, I announced ARES, Analog Remote Enhancement Service. So if you are a member of A tier in my Patreon, you can now get up to 8 tracks a month through analog hardware and digital and effects and synthesizers and things and amps from my studio. So it is included with the A tier membership. That's it. End of the advertisement. You'll find videos, shorts, reels, promoted stuff. I'm thinking it will be all over the place. It doesn't quite matter. Today we are mixing techno again, you know, because we have a good person, we have a good friend and mentors for all things Eurorack and for all things, you know, techno. Mr. Mike Reynolds has been doing a lot of work for the Eurorack modular that he recently bought. So we are delighted. We're delighted to have his tracks here for today as well. So this is Berlin style techno because my heritage is all about Berlin. But he's in Orlando, Florida, and I'm not doxing him, but that's where he is. So, you know, and I'm here. So we've got Ableton Live 12 suite, courtesy of the game studio, which I'm kind of doing stuff that I cannot talk about. But we are now taking care of mixing these through Live 12. Now, what I've done is that this is my template that I've been attending to for the past afternoon. Like I've tried it yesterday and I made the absolute 100% mistake to use the beta, which is an unbelievable beta. It's got a ton of amazing features that we're going to use when, you know, 12.3 comes out, but not now, not today. So I have all of the sends and retards from my scoring template. I had to kind of sacrifice a couple, but it is working. By a couple, I mean 4 or 5. And look what we have here. We have the tracks in gray, right here. And we've got, I'm gonna make room for it because we're all about that. And then we've got a green track right here. This is beautiful about live, that we got groups now. And since I've left live a long time ago, groups didn't exist, or I didn't know about them. So here it is. All beats, drums, grooves, perk, impacts, risers, cybers, basses, synths, strings, brass, guitars, organic, vocals, choir, ambient, and effects, and 2 bass retardant, which are using an unbelievable color. Take a look at that color right there. What is that color? That has no name. So that is just to separate that. We close these. You see how they all go to mix A, right? We close these and we have them go to mix A. Mix A goes into mix B goes into C, and we go to print. Right now, mix A has my mix bus. You can see that below. So it is a 1-to-1 replica of my scoring template in Nuendo in live. Is it gonna explode? We don't know. Maybe it is gonna explode, but maybe not. We don't know. So far, it's worked. It's incredibly solid. It's fantastic. It is live. Come on. I mean, Live 12 is amazing. It is an amazing platform. So we're mixing today. We're not doing live instruments plus plug-in instruments plus weird things. So we should kind of be safe, so to speak, because there's a couple things in tempos that we want to maybe address. And I'll do it in the behind the scenes. If you haven't checked the behind the scenes, please do. So mix A goes to B, B to C, C to print. Okay, our mix C has a limiter. Mix B has another limiter. That is wrong. Oh, that's the ML4000. Okay, I'm gonna keep it there. It's not a limiter. It's kind of complicated plugin. Top secret. And then we've got mix A, which has my mix bus. I'm gonna actually keep it here, and I'm opening the first compressor. We might not be using this. But I've been kind of lying to you. Okay, when I'm saying I'm mixing these Berlin style, it also doesn't mean that I'm just gonna do it with the plugins that you see on YouTube from people I don't even know. Okay, this is my scoring template into the techno realm of Mike's techno music. Okay, so it's totally fine. Let's keep an eye on this. I'm gonna put it somewhere safe, like right here. Beautiful 2 buttons here, H and W. You can't see them, they're behind me, but you could if I did. I'm not gonna do it. I want to be this big because it's more compelling. It's more, I don't know, it's more fun. So we've got 12 tracks. That's good. They're all going to mix A. We're not making buses for now. I want to listen to the stuff here, and I actually want to compartmentalize, and I said it right this time, because this is drums. Drums is brown everywhere, all over the world. People abiding by my rules, they're brown. Bass, notoriously magenta or whatever. Maybe that's a scary magenta stuff. Let's go for a darker one. Then we got chords, CH. That should be closed hat in the techno world, right? Then we got diva. Okay, he used diva. That is amazing. We got perks right here. Chord. You know what? We're gonna make the chords sort of purple. Then we got dubs, diva, fur. What is fur? Let's try and see what fur is here. Oh, and we're gonna stumble upon a problem just in about a second. Oh, that's kind of a sound effect. Okay, sound effects, are these color here. Okay. Now, I haven't colored anything at all because, well, we can do that. We can say, get colors to whatever. But you know what? I'm kind of traditionalist. I'm going to do it this way. Back in the old days, we used to color our tracks one by one, by hand. Can you believe that? We used to do it. We used to mix tracks bit by bit, people. Yeah, the good old times. Okay. You know what? I'm going to be reckless. I'm kind of dialing in a different color right there. Easy to see, right? Drums, bass, sound effect, keys, harmonies, whatever. So we have no idea about the tempo. We don't care. We're not tempo people for now. That this is kind of tape style. But here's the first problem that I'm gonna have with my template in live. If I solo exclusive, because I like XOR, if I solo exclusively say a kick and I press play right here, nothing is happening. You cannot hear this. I know you can't. Why? Because it's opening that track right there, the KD, but it is not opening my sends, okay? My basses, my mix A, mix B, mix C, they are one track into the other and they make use of input monitoring. So because it's exclusive, it's XOR, I really need to make myself smaller, right? Okay, I get that. I'm smaller. So mix A, mix B, and mix C, I need to make them soloed in order to hear the kick, which is here, which we still don't hear because the print track also has to be soloed. And now we hear kind of everything for some whatever reason. Because by doing this, because we're going to mix A and I've soloed everything, it's kind of like just, yeah, I know. This bothers me so much because if I solo a track right there, it should actually be opening. But if I solo this, let me solo these 4 tracks with just the kick not soloed. You hear it? We hear everything because we've soloed the basses through which things go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the opposite. I'm gonna ditch the solos and I'm gonna utilize the mutes. Simple as that. Simple solutions for simple problems. So now we got the kick. Why am I keeping that compressor open? I'm keeping that compressor open because that's the first one in the actual chain. Okay, I was checking Discord because you're still typing on Discord. Get over here. All right, so that's our kick. That's the overheads. Man, it does not want me to loop this part, huh? Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna loop this part. I'm gonna go Control L, and that's gonna be it. Okay. I'm gonna keep adding drums, and we're gonna hear how things go. Nothing's playing here. Okay, so where's the perk set? Okay. I could live with this. Like I would want to have these looped because it's kind of coherent. Right? That's nice. That's nice. Let me hear my bass right here. Okay, so what I want to do is this. I want to send the KD to all beats because that's where the beats happen for me. And I think I just reminded myself that I haven't tuned the ubiquitous Blamsoft. I haven't. So we're going to do it on the fly here. So let me go back to just the drums. Okay, I like this, but it's not kicking that much. Okay, good. Good to go. Well, you know what? We're gonna keep it this way. How would it be without? Okay, we're losing some bass, right? Okay, it feels like we're losing bass. Maybe it's the treble thing. I need these to really go after that. So I'm good. Thank you. That's our, let me check that the filter bank's not doing anything. It's just doing -6. That's perfectly fine. Now, how about these? These cannot go to the beats bus because it's gonna become mono. That's what happens. So I'm thinking this should be going to the grooves. I'm checking what, and I have to kind of tilt my head because of how they write it vertical. And I'm thinking this is the right one. This is kind of the grooves thing. So let's highlight them and let's send them to all grooves right here. So we're now into all grooves. You can see that because it's right here. We got beats and grooves, and I can always collapse that bus part so that we get the tracks. We can even go like this, and there'll be more of these, you see. But does it make sense? I mean, with a few tracks it does. No, it's not that bad. Okay, so we have overheads. We got the closed hat 2. We're going to the grooves. The grooves are not getting monoed, and there's a tiny little bit of sidechain. Let me see if this is what we need. We need obviously the kick. I think a couple dBs is gonna be good. So awesome. See how everything's set in my template? Kind of liking that. So now bass, definitely going to bass. You remember what we did last time? Now it's very hard. I have basses, brass, and beats, and I make constant mistakes on them because that's what it is. So now my basses bus, because I have usually more than one. It's got its filters, which I'm thinking I'm only trimming. That's okay. It's got my Reason Rack plugin. That's okay. I want to see how much the sidechain's working. Okay, that's good. Now my bass bus hasn't been initialized, so for that reason it's not in input mode. So to have it in input mode, no problem. We just open the mixer. Is it this one? Yes, it's this one. And all basses, we put it to in. It needs to be in input, otherwise for what I do, it shall not work. Okay, very important. So this is very, very still not doing what I want. This is kind of far from what I want. But what do we have on all basses that we can kind of use to spice things up? We have this. And I know the pulverizers we've used, but also remember I told you the retro is, I love this. Let's try this. Let's first let's pulverize it a little bit more. You hear how it bounces around? I actually wasn't expecting this, but it works very well for the vibe of the song. I can already hear it vibing. Now this is perfectly mono and I like this. Let me try VHS. I'm gonna do it. This time I'm gonna do it. See, it doesn't work. Okay, I like this. Now we're kind of back in business for what this is doing. So what about the FR? I think this is gonna be all ambient. And the ambient, I think we need to initialize. How beautiful is that you can just drag this mixer? Man, I love this. Let me actually type to get people in here. Mike's track is a banger. Live now. Awesome. All right. So ambient. So the ambient's now inputted here. Monitor is in. Let me check that we have some sidechain. I don't know if I really want to sidechain this, but I certainly want to take some lows out just because that's what I do. See, this is too much now. because that's supposed to kind of float. I don't want to give it that sense of constant pumping. I don't want to do that. So that's the ambient, that's choir, vocals, organic guitars. Awesome. Let's go back here. What do we have? We have our diva. All right, let's start now. Now the instruments are starting, like, you know, you're coming through from the past. Minus 19 minutes. No worries. Awesome. Thank you, James. Welcome to the stream. Mike's got a banger here for us. Just wrote you on Discord because, like, yo, I see numbers going up. Nobody's typing. It's okay. You know, the last thing I would want is for people to feel forced to type, like, oh, hi, how are you doing today? I'm getting coffee. All that, like, you know. No, it's okay. If you don't want to type, don't type. Absolutely. This is not reverb psychology, by the way. So, diva, that's the first thing here. Is this a synthesizer? Like, are we going to send it to synths? We don't know. We are going to send it to synths, just to start. Now I have to check that my synths bus, you see here, the monitor is off. No, I want it in. It needs to be in. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, drastic, for as drastic as that is, this 100 Hertz HPF has been not criticized, but I've been talking about it, I don't remember when, but more than once through different people, real life as well. This is kind of a pre-dinner talk, like, wow, okay, you got 100 Hertz, 12 dB per octave, high pass on most tracks, and you just decide whether or not you would turn it on. Why don't you go 96, 112? Why don't you tweak it for different instruments need be? And why do you have to have it on from the start? I'm telling you, this is an offset for me because I am gonna EQ these synths whether or not this thing is in. But I'm creating an offset just so that the drums have that breathing factor, you know? It's probably gonna be drums and bass, right? So I want that because I find that in my scoring, remember, this is my template being applied to techno, and it is kind of working. What I find out usually is that there's a build-up of bass that does not keep the center very strong. And in the last year or so, I've borrowed so much from techno because I was asked to actually write music that had a strong techno vibe for video game sketches. So, you know, I had to kind of relearn, teach myself how to do that. Most of that was kind of like starting off the right foot. End of that. So that sounds good. So it's a little bit low maybe, but I'm not gonna create issues where there's not, right? That's okay. So let's try the second diva. And this is probably gonna be synths as well. Let's go synths. Here. Man, this kind of light spread left, right, he's doing such a good job in just having... Mike wrote these two so that the first diva comes and the second one arrives later. So if we pan it left and right, they just go circled, and I love that. Man, this is kind of a summer techno vibes I'm getting here. It feels like I'm in the open because of that FR. Okay, let's go. Chords. You know what? I'm gonna send these all to synths. For now, I don't think this is gonna be cybers and that stuff. Complicated for scoring. Okay, now we're talking. Now we got mid, slow, fast transients. Here. okay, I'm good. I don't like one thing about these. The overheads feel to me a tad dry. So you know what? I'm just right off the bat, what I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try 2016 as usual, instead of using EQs. So let's try and get these two. They don't feel connected to the kick. They feel too forward. Okay, I'm thinking I'm starting to get a rough out of here. That's okay. Was there a closed head right here? That was the part I didn't like. That was the part I didn't like, right? So let me hear it with and without that 2016. Here. Yes, a little bit more gain, but also a little bit more mix, so it's kind of going backwards. I like that. Awesome. Okay, so we got all the tracks in. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take the mix A, and I'm gonna check whether or not we're hitting our first compressor. Let's see. Let's go to the busy part. I'm still having issues remembering that it's gonna start from the beginning. Have you seen it? Like I'm not, you know, I'm closing the loop, but it's starting where it wants. So that's me not being used to it. Hey Mike, welcome. Sorry I'm late. I might rewind and catch from the beginning. You cannot at the moment because time, we're blue team basically. You cannot do that. But eventually you'll be able to see me coming backwards, something that hasn't happened yet. Tenet reference happening at what? 39 minutes 5 seconds. Okay, it's good. It's not too soon. Right, no friends at dusk. Absolutely. So I was just checking the mix bus. I kind of got a nice rough. I didn't do much, just put it through my buses. The template's ready for those of you who just got in touch here, like Mike, who wrote the song, by the way. Amazing song. I'm kind of liking the techno summer vibes. It's not like too oppressed, just the FR tracks opening things. Everything sounding fine. I only put a 2016 on the overheads to bring them in better, and the kick drums just getting distorted in the upper part by my Beats bus, but it's the only one going to the Beats bus because I want to keep it open. And then probably the one thing that really made me happy was that the diva and dub were kind of like slightly skewed pan-wise left and right, so that the way you wrote them, the dub comes later and they're kind of going circles like left, right. It feels like it's moving around, which I like. So now what I'm doing is that's the first compressor of the mix bus. I'm checking whether I am compressing or not, okay? And I'm keeping the levels true to you. I'm seeing that you're getting close to 0, but it should not distort, okay? So here it isn't. We can trim it if you want. If it explodes, you'll hear it. You know, I can trim it, but it should be 1-to-1, and it is loud in your stream as it is here. But that's techno. I don't know what we're even talking about. So it's a matter of thresholding our way through, or you know what? I am not gonna touch the threshold of this dude because everything's scaled to it. I'm gonna take my A. Actually, I don't even know if it is gonna be too much or not enough. But just so we do, we bring in the beautiful utility. This little thing has everything: input phase reversal for both channels, stereo and mono with mono compatibility for mono bass, gain and balance. So I'm just gonna use it for sending the gain up and down in case we're really not hitting our compressor. I wonder if we are actually. Man, it's amazing. Huh? Can I just spend a second to say this? The moment I drop things in, I heard it raise in volume. This is 3 dBs because I just want to get a little bit over board. But it isn't louder. It's kind of like bringing itself up, and it's like we're now really in the club. That before was just tracks in Ableton. This is kind of like singing now. You remember what the bass is? I've shown this gazillions times. It's the 71 into the 70. We're doing a little bit of a Fairchild emulation without the harmonics. We're getting the Sontech afterwards. And I'm doing this, which I'm thinking this is the guy that I called this preset Lursen Soft because it's in honor of Gavin Lursen and the way he does soft VCA compression. I obviously probably did it the way Gavin would not me want to do it, like dude stuff. Or maybe he'd be amazed that I did it, who knows. So the Sontech here is going into this, and because we're hitting it right, I think we're compressing the right way. Then we've got good math, which because I like to just harass people with this thing. And then we've got MBQ all the time. This is always on. I cannot believe that we're carving so much in the low mids, yet to me it works. So I'm just gonna work the bus processor so that we have it. I know the 71's okay. I know the Sontech's okay. And I'm starting always for this. A muscle memory hasn't kicked in yet. Okay, what I'm gonna do is this. You see this button here, the yellow button? That's the compressor button. That's the only thing I'm using here. I'm not doing weird things. I'm just using the compressor because Softtube, man, those people know. This plugin is probably, to me at the moment, my favorite sort of like VCA bus compressor in the box. It's just insane. And I've tuned it to be sort of like a soft kind of thing. And I've done measurements of this. You won't believe it, how much time I've spent doing this preset. So please copy it. Never mention that you got it from me. Get a BAFTA award, and then send me a postcard. So without and with, let's do this. And again, I want to be this part. I'm loving this. Like, this is probably one of the least interventions ever. The whole bus, the whole system, the whole thing, to a song that has it. So, you know, it works. Don't touch it. I still thought that the overheads were a little bit too upfront from how I'm hearing the song. I'm kind of wanting, you know, the drums. I heard the kick. I heard, Mike, you did kind of like a rounder behind the scenes thing, and it's a beautiful heartbeat style kick. So the overheads cannot really be somebody else on front of the stage selling, you know, what could you be selling at a techno club, whatever, I don't know, you know, earplugs, right? What? So, you know, it needs to be behind. So that's what I did. The 2016s worked wonders for that. I'm vibing. Honestly, I could press play now and just enjoy it, which is probably, you know what we're going to do. We're going to do this. Now, you notice here there's a print bus. at the bottom. It's very much at the bottom. Hey, Darnico. Welcome. Welcome. What's up, bro? How's your day going? Welcome. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna print it. I'm gonna print it while we'll listen to this. Okay. So I'm gonna take a track. See how convenient this is? I brought the all grouped together, so I can just do this. And we're gonna loop this guy right here. We're gonna start from bar 1, and we're gonna put our print track, which is an audio track, in record, which in my opinion should trigger the recording. So I would do this with a client. I would just I would take the whole thing and I would print it. Darnico says, I'm trying to produce Techno 2. I will learn from a live session. Thank you very much. I'm honored. If you get anything to learn on this video, if you just jumped in, will be available in the future as a rewatch. So you'll have plenty of time to go back and just take a look, see the presets, pause, just, if you have the plugins, get them to work, just see the scenario. So now I got to a point where I like the song, and I'm thinking I could make it worse by tweaking it further. So what I'm going to do is, I haven't wasted time listening to a lot of the music here, and I'm fresh, right? So because I'm fresh and I did some adjustments, I will consider these mix 01. And I would print it because I would want the artist to hear it the way I got it here. This is, to me, an important standpoint. Actually, the worst part is that I haven't even saved. So I'm going to call these mics. What is this song's name? NSD, okay? So I would call it NSD Mix 1, no master, okay? That's how I usually work it out. This is Mix 1, no master. I'm printing it. And once we're printing it, once we have the audio file, I will press save, and we're gonna save as mix 02, okay? And we're gonna continue there. But I want that. No start dub. Oh, that's why it's NSD. Okay, no start dub. Okay, I use the acronym, we're safe. So arming printing track for record, and I'm just gonna let you vibe and have a good time here. While we're doing this, I'm actually gonna get you to, see some stuff that moves, like these two move for sure. The rest doesn't, so it's kind of boring to look at, but this is okay. So we're at bar 1. We ended at bar 1 for 150 just to be sure, a couple bars more. And if I press record, it should track, right? Because muscle memory, as I said, hasn't kicked in for me yet. So let's try. Yes, it's tracking. Okay, we let it go the way it is. and we have it printed. So I'm gonna just erase the other part. So Dartnickel says that you like hyper techno. Mike, indeed, that's listen to what Mike said, because that's the best answer. We did a much faster techno track last week. One thing you could do if you were a patron like Mike, you can send me your tracks and I can mix them live. That's as much publicity as I want to do myself. But if there's hyper techno tracks that as a free member on Patreon, you want to just, point me out to that people want other people to mix, I'd be happy to get different tracks and mix them. But it was indeed a faster track last week. So, the power of listening, people, this is insane. I don't do this enough on videos and streams. And I'm thinking, today I was thinking it kind of gets the wrong message across. That it's all about touching everything as soon as you get it on your plate, digging into the plate as soon as they serve it to you. Well, it's the format of streaming, of keeping things interesting, not talking too much, not spending too much time. There's a couple things that go wrong with that format because people don't really feel as, the time passing as if they were in the studio. So listening is an amazing thing, people. We should all kind of try it from time to time. So this is our print. We are going to rename this track print mix 1 no master, because we know that is print, no master. I think I can rename this thing. So this is NS, this is print. This is how I named them, okay? Look at how tiny that thing is. Can you even read? I can't. So all lowercase, okay? Print _ NSD _ mix 01 no master _ 4824. Because I'm actually assuming this is a 24-bit file. Could be not, okay? Enter, save. Don't skim on this. Don't think that this is useless, okay? This is very important. Now we have it. File, save as. No, not save a copy. I don't want to save a copy. Save live set as. Get this guy here and call it mix 02. Okay? So now everything we did before is saved forever into mix 01 no master. We cannot touch it unless we go back to that specific session. Everything we do now is on this different thing. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this track as it is, but when I'm monitoring stuff, I can always turn off the monitor input on the print 01 mix no master, right? That one thing, the white thing there. If I turn it off, we're going to listen to what we printed. If I keep it in blue, we're going to listen to the live mix, right? Let's try that, because I'm assuming it's going to work. I don't really know on live. I mean, I know I did it, so it should do it. Let's try it. Well, right now they sound the same, so we're kind of tricked, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the kick out, and if the kick goes out, we're listening to the live mix for sure. Okay? So can I comment on something as well? It sounds pretty one-to-one to me. Pretty much one-to-one. Remember, because we're listening through the print, we're not going through the mix bus again, obviously, but not so obviously, okay? And good job, Ableton. This sounds one-to-one. I could have done a resampler. I like to do the printing of the tracks that way, because if you have hardware, you need to do it this way anyway. So, but a resampler is amazing, and it's a different thing. So, I know you know how to use Live better than I do. So, but why am I even spending time on here? So, what is it that I don't like and that could be improved, but that can be discussed that could be improved or not? It's certainly a song that would require the artist, Mike, and me here deciding what to do with automation, because I would like to keep the length, but also keep things a little bit more interesting, fade things in and out, have them move. And honestly, when it's about this genre, this techno stuff, once we set the session right, it would be a matter of having Mike sit here, because he wrote the song, it's his song, and work the faders and stuff to get the automation of the things he likes. So reverbs, a little bit more saturation, filters on the kick coming back and in so that the kick is not always this big. Ideas like that. We design them first and then he plays them like instruments, okay? But Mike is not here. He's in beautiful sunny Orlando, Florida. And, you know, how are we going to do it? Remotely, you might say, well, yes, but no. But it's important. We would do this. Don't scheme on this. This is more important. This is the artist, okay? There's no engineering. This is the artist. You know, we're just serving the song. Now, number 2, there's a couple structural things that I would change. I am not persuaded that the overheads are as distant, like they work, but not all the time. I like them in the end, but I don't like them at the beginning. So I could duplicate the track, do a different sound. Let me try and do something different. I want to group these as my first attempt, okay? And now we're going to disable these, and we're going to try and design a different chain for processing these that we're going to group as well. So we can do groups, you know, A versus B, and here what kind of processing is there. To do this, I'm going to utilize this section right here, actually this part, okay? If this was Cubase, we would have triggered 300 commands, but just doing a drag there would be like, here's a manual at you, in your face. So, but Live's tolerant about that. So, you know, I'm not persuaded this has worked. So I'm gonna ditch this. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get Pro Q. Mike's gonna hate me. What I want to do here is I want to try and see if I can ditch some stuff in the queue, and I want a longer reverb. I want a longer. Ethan, you wrote. I thought Mike was gonna write something. So I'm gonna go natural phase, and what I'm gonna go for is I need a vibe on the reverb. What are we gonna dial as reverb? What could be that has kind of the style we need? Let me think. I'm thinking Verb Suite Classics has some stuff that I like. You know, I'm gonna go Seventh Heaven Pro. I use Trader, says Mike. Yes, he wants channel strips, but I'm like, you know, it's okay. It's all good. So all dry. This is gonna be our second group, okay? So that I can always mute, like bypass one group and turn on the other, and so I can say, well, it was better before, maybe, okay? So, but let's try that. So let me just hear what doesn't work. I mean, like this, it works. Oh, I see what it is. It is in conjunction with the CH. Okay, no. OH alone. This is what's kicking me. It's that I want the overheads alone. That one's not working. When the CH comes in, it's feeling good. So it's complementary, but alone I don't quite like it as I did it. So okay, I like this, but the trick now is to make these dynamic, because we gotta trick the ear into thinking that there's kind of an attack that is not really there. So we need to. I'm gonna go attack fastest, and then I'm gonna go release faster as well. I want the vibe of sort of a hi-hat to kick in, and then I want it to go away and come back. Okay, sorta. Let's try that. I'm not persuaded that this is actually the way to do it. I mean, I think it sounds like, I think it needs to be compressed as well. Let me try that. Let me hear how it is. It's just a matter of having it vibe. This is the things you spend so much time on. Let's try that again. Now, dynamic doesn't really work. But let me go back to where we had it. So scratch that idea. I don't like it. It doesn't work. But how about here? Maybe Pro Q for once is not working. Okay, let's try that. I'm seriously like, what? Okay, let's try it. This is easy. When it kicks in, the CH just fixes it. Okay, that's not bad, but I want the pre-delay now. I'm thinking the pre-delay is gonna fix it. I have no idea why. Let's try that. Man, that's probably what I wanted to hear. I'm thinking that is what I wanted to hear. It's preserving, like the sound is fine. The tail isn't connecting it to the atmosphere of the back. I'm now feeling very confident all of a sudden. So you hear what I've done, right? That is clearly almost, we could time it if we had the BPMs. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's kind of like offbeat to the vibe, but it's connected in a way that it feels really part of it, and you handle the mix to get that. So it's okay. I like that. Let me try before and after, like version 1 versus version 2. No, not even close. So I'm gonna ditch that. Let me ditch. You know what? I'm not gonna ditch it. I'm just gonna keep it there because, you know, it's the old version. But see why we saved as a new one? We did that for that reason. So I'm liking this, and I gotta tell you, I would even do. I've done this once or twice. Okay, I am duplicating this. Techno's so weird at how amazing things work when they're wrong. So, right. I've duplicated the reverb, and what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna create a reverb of the reverb version that is gonna come even later than that. Does it even make sense what I'm saying? Yeah, it is. Okay, so we had that pre-delay at 161. We could do 322. You know, I don't think it's gonna work right there, but that's the idea. This one has to be lazier. That's why I didn't want to do straight ahead ×2. It has to be lazier. So we're doing kind of a delayed plate. That's the professional way to do it. That's a delayed plate move. Mike does martial arts. I'm doxing Mike on all things. Like, people are building. There's some people after these many songs are gonna have like a bulletin board in their in their basement or in their, you know, attic, and there's gonna be like all information about Mike that came out from these streams, and they're like, we're so close to pinpointing this guy. This is what's gonna happen. All right. Okay, yes, I'm liking it. And also I think that this could probably not be a bell, although this is gonna change life for us so much. Let me try and shelf it. No. It's amazing how, like, wow, like, it makes a ton of difference. Okay, so can you believe I'm like spending this much on that? It's what it is. That's what it needs. So now we're gonna take that part that we're gonna solo and find, and we're gonna tame it to be as stable as possible, because that's not pro to me until it gets there. Now I like it better. When the CH comes in, it's back to where it was before. Well, we didn't like it, but we did like it there. I had made it in a way that it was kind of not working. Can you believe the amount of money in plugins that we're putting on a single overheads techno track? That's what it takes. I mean, I don't know. I just hear it now being what I wanted it to be. Now I would still kind of have it come a little bit from the back. I would kind of like, have it move and stuff. But now I like it, certainly. One thing, okay, so let me try and find it here. There's a second part where it comes back in. Some people will find it dark. I know that. I know already. Like, it was fine, but it could have been maybe brighter. And it's not about this part. It's probably about here. Let me still try and do that. Here. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. Mike says it's not even full overheads. Yeah, it's just open. Right. Open hat, which it is, which would be almost kind of like what you would also get from like stereo, overheads where the drummer's just gone playing one thing. So that's why I say, yeah, open hat. That's even worse value. No. It's fine. It's all good. So we did a Pro Q. We did a 7th Heaven into a 7th Heaven Pro. 7th Heaven Pro into 7th Heaven Pro. They're both professionals. They're both equal. No discrimination. Pro MB last to do that, and it's coming there. But you know what? Do we have a transient shaper? Yes, we do. Can I try a transient shaper? Maybe that's the only thing we needed. You know where I'm gonna put it? Before the 7th Heavens, but after the Pro Q. Let me see. So we got attack, pump, sustain. I have no idea, but KHS does pretty much cool stuff, so. Isn't that amazing what it does? It's not even, I find it's nice. Higher values result in snappier trance and lower values smoother curves. Okay, let's try that as well. Here. Can I say something? I'm kind of liking it closer. I like it in different ways. Like not being the artist, I would really not know where to go. But I'm liking that. Okay, we're good here. The other thing I didn't like was at the beginning, what I had done wasn't really speaking. I think it was the diva part alone was too much because the bass is not really doing it. No, this part's fine here. It's the bass probably. I know it's NSD chord 1. Look at that. It's the first, I don't know, wife shirt collar track. Okay, so you know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna try and put some effects that I have here. Let me try. The bass coming in high bass was poor choice. No, I don't think it's that problem. I mean, it's now not really breathing within the template. So I just want to try and see if I can get some effects in. They should be all locked in. Let me try and hear first if my template works. So let's try that. This is NSD chord 1 that I want to tweak. I'm going to add some sends. Because I don't think I hear it. I was trying to, but I don't think I hear it. Let me see if that... It's everything is on, but let me see the... I mean, I know the last ones are going to work, but I want to see the pedals. Let me try that here. I don't have solos enabled, so yeah, let me see why. Is everything on? Yeah, it is. Okay, so we're safe. Now I'm getting that because I'm using a track. You pulled up the project. Chord 1 is Ostinus, aka Virus TI2. All right, sounds pretty spot on for like that Nord Lead Virus era where you had the stubs. I don't know. I call them stubs. That sound there. So it works. It's amazing how Crotosian's working as well. Let me see if it is on. Here, right here. Right. Very subtle, you hear, but I'm kind of thinking this is doing nice things. So Crotosian's definitely working. I don't even want to look at that stuff because we don't need to. I don't want to look at the buses now because I fixed it. One thing that I have to do is, however, that if I'm using this, my Pro Q, pardon me, needs to be 12 up. That's usually how I scale that because I go 12 down in the pedals, 12 up. The Strymos would really be able to take it. The Avalanche is kind of like a little bit finicky, wants to have a little bit of a lower level. So, all right. So we know now they work, okay? So let me try that. It's not much about the sound of this. I mean, I have to reformulate my idea. like where it all is. I think we just need kind of like a Pro MB to get these to be invisibly calibrated a tiny little bit. Because this is gonna give us the most coherent vibe instead of going hard with like a compressor vintage stuff. You know what would be awesome here though? I'm gonna do light work here and I'm gonna pull up the 560, the API. Yeah, here. Wait, don't tell me. No, yeah. Who's? No, I thought we were listening. Let me mute the. Let me deactivate the clip. I'm fearing we're gonna listen to the mix, and I'm gonna start making moves and moves and moves, and nothing. So now the mix is muted. What we printed is muted. Either we hear our live mix or we hear nothing. I feel safer now. I'm in danger. Oh, because that's not the sound that is doing that. So it was not chord 1. Man, bad work. Who is it? Is it that part? Ah, okay. We have two things. Now I get it why you said high bass. Okay. So it's easier than I thought. It's easier than I thought. It's our bass that needs multi-band compression. And that one, like, yeah. I mean, that one, this one's gonna take it. Okay. This part, I want to hear this part where it comes alone here. And I knew it was going to be 200. This thing needs to be carved. We need to make it a little bit leaner. Okay, now the question is, are we killing this completely because of the kick? I'm interested in seeing this. Are we killing it completely? Because I kind of like where it sits, but I'm thinking bass flows there. Okay, let me hear it without the kick. I'm gonna go, instead of soloing, by mutes, okay? No, okay, so you designed it right. Like, it's dropping low, where the kick, I was kind of thinking, like, is the kick making it go that way? Because that'd be like amazingly timed sidechain, but that can happen. But no, you did high bass and then you dropped it down, and this is why I wasn't digging the sound. So it could be 2 tracks, easy. I'm now kind of, I mean, now I know what you, Mike, wrote. Makes sense. It's me not knowing the tracks yet. So let me make it a little bit detailed. Actually, no. We said we're not gonna do this here. Go away. Okay, we're just fixing the 200. That I like that. And 560. Who makes a 560 that we like? UAD. I mean, Waves is also pretty good. I've used that for so long. Let's do that. I think I can add some pizzazz. Wait, what? like that. It's just so little, but it is a lot. Like how we're taking presence away and we're substituting for that presence on the one with higher stuff, and it's making it go less obvious. And I like it. I hear the overtones. I can still hear the 1K, but I hear the overtones more. Nice. Okay. I mean, subtle. You know, we can talk about that. You know, but effects. I want to kind of dig a little bit into the OH, CH, and perks and make them kind of a little bit more like affected using the template I have, nothing major. Like here. Not that one, because it's not tempo synced. But man, am I a techno person or what? Here to E, I. My template has granted me so many opportunities to get as close as possible to scoring an amazing video game for like a AAA and getting my name on the cover. Like you don't even have the game title. You don't even have the cover. Everything's just white paper. And somebody in Times New Roman just writes my name, which takes pretty much, as you know, the whole cover. It took me so close. I am almost amazed, you know. It's not even tempo synced here, but the trans gates and that stuff, they make it breathe. This is all the movement I wanted, just creating some more subdivisions. Now, I like this. I want to try two more things. I want to get the kick to be a little bit more playing together with what I'm doing. Oh, the chords. Let's try and get the chords to be a little bit, like a little bit more effect. Let's try that. Is the avalanche run. You don't hear it. It's reverse delay into reverb. You don't really hear it. I use these on orchestral stuff a lot, that pedal, and it's just making that wall behind the speakers go away. It's just so good. Beautiful pedal. Beautiful pedal. I got it from a guy in Berlin who unfortunately needed the money. He wanted to change his rig. He got into a paid gig that required different gear. And I have it. I still use it. If you're watching this video, you know, it's making good work of what we fit it. It's just opening things. So that one's done. I wouldn't even add that many effects because I like the vibe, but it's expanding. It's getting to be a little bit more expansive. So now the kick isn't, to me, 100% fine-tuned. And let's talk about it by using one very new plugin called ProQ4. Mike's gonna completely hate me from this moment on. We go natural phase, and I just want to fine-tune. You know what we're gonna do? No. Yes. I mean, it's easier to explain it if you see this. I had a moment. Let's try this. I want to find where it needs to be cut. Okay. Q, we're going to reset to 1. We're going to go hunt for a frequency, and we are going to find spots where the kick could kind of be maybe dehydrated a bit, and maybe Saturn is going to work. Let's try that. Hear how it works, right? Even because the bass is kind of playing it nice. So here. Do you find it funny that I do gestures while I'm listening? How horrible would it be that I would talk over it? Simple as that. So, what is it? And why do I close the plugins? 28 hertz, 0.121. So obvious, right? I knew it on top of my head. Like, why does it have to be 28.1? Because it sounds fine to me here. I don't know. And I cannot trust it, okay? I went to cut some of the stuff, but it was about 0.7 and 1.1 because the kick was becoming that, very angry kind of. And I think the vibe here is really unique and fine. Two things now we want to do. I hope you agree with me. I want to try and get some tape in to see if it works. But you know what we should try? We should try and vitalize the heck out of this thing. How nice is this? This just came out weeks ago for a second, then it disappeared. Then 2 days after, it came back again. Another intern posted it. And this would be a stage in which working the bass sound and the comp it's gonna be dangerous knowing this unit. I've worked actually more with this, but we're gonna go 3T, all right, straight in. Now, this is, again, it's a moment of the mix in which I think it would be detrimental to use this because it's a little bit too soon. But also, why not? Okay, so we've got drive, we've got bass sound, soft and tight, then the compression amount, the tuning for the mid-high frequencies, the amount of processing, the LCQ, the intensity, the stereo expander. It is the typical vitalizer thing. What it does, it's working on delaying. The group delay on this thing is, it happened and they loved it, and that was the vitalizer. That's what, or vitalizer. Some people know it's vitalizer. I'm gonna say vitalizer. And it's just how it separates in the time domain areas that tend to be together that kind of emphasizes this. James says, I've caught up. I'm now live. Fast forwarded Sam talking. Yes. Good. So drive, bass sound. I'm going to show you how I use it. Let's not take the stereo expander for a second. I'm going to work the drive first and actually the process and bass sound. Okay, let's try that. I'm gonna take straight up something. What? Okay. Yo, live glitch for a second. Okay, no, it was probably auto saving. So here. Okay, I can tell you why am I seeing a mix of tracks types in your all. Some are all audio as you're monitoring on, others don't. You are seeing here a group. This is my alls. It's easy to fold it. And what you're seeing here on monitor in is because there are actual tracks assigned to them. That's a good question that I kind of covered, but then I didn't that much. So all beats does have tracks that go to it, so it's got monitoring in. It's an audio track, because then I can stem printing real time on it. That's why they are what they are. Drums doesn't have anything, could easily go in this specific mix. Grooves does. perks, impact, risers, cybers. There's no track assigned, so it could be off. And basses does have the bass, synths has the synths, ambient has a track for ambience, and then all effects and 2-bass retard are the effects and 2-bass retard. So then they all go to mix A, they all go then to mix B. From mix B they go to mix C, where the limiter is, and then we go to print, where we print stuff, and there's just your sent to the stream. They're orphans, exactly. Like we could, just turn them off. As soon as I drop a track, assigning it to that track, the audio track, it will become monitor auto, and it will not be audible. So I need to kind of double check that they are all in, but I cannot set them in because there's no input until you go send them a track, because I'm not sending through the input, I'm sending through the track itself. So this is exactly doing what it's supposed to do, and I am not 100% liking what it's doing. The higher part brings my mix to a detail in the hats that break my song, in my opinion, the way I'm using it, of course. I like the ambience that comes up, but it's not 100%, necessary. I told you this was too early, and to me it is. And also the time domain of my multiband processing is not really doing it. Yes, I've tamed it. The LCQ, I brought it kind of like back. The mid-highs, we went to as far as 5 kilohertz. We're kind of rebalancing it, but I don't know. Let me try it again. I can comment better. This one I like. This is the typical plugin that like people like Mike, I don't remember, probably Mike definitely asked, Martin as well today, said like, I would really love to know like how to use that. Like this is a plugin that I am telling you, you turn a knob and don't try to make it work. If it does not comply, turn it down. In my opinion right here, one that I usually do on the unit is that it drives too much for mixes, especially if you bring in a lot of level in. It takes it, but it's colored, okay? So driving it down all the way, which I'm thinking it's gonna have like the least harmonics. And bass really isn't, it's just doing a work on my balance that I don't like. And it's grinding. And I don't want that, I want rounder kind of bass. The mid-high and process, LC and intensity are kind of massaging the high mids in a way that, yes, they're making it a little bit more coherent, Now I'd go back here and I try and find the mix knob and I would bring it down. Can you believe that? I could also, something we could do is increase the headroom so that it works less. That'd be good. But I'm not going to do it because you know what? I'm going to stick to what I've done. However, as I said, this is too much for now. So I'm going to make it inactive. It is a moment in time where this is too much. And what I want to do is I want to, I want to better maker it. You remember the preset we had here? This one, the Mix Bus Polisher. Is this going to make it like, are we going to use these in place of the, actually, yes. Because I don't want to do it here. I'm going to go to Mix A. I'm going to go right after Bass Processor. And we are going to do this. We're going to kind of like, not shoot them out, but who's going to do it better? It's going to sound different, but I'm loving what the Bass Processor is doing. And I said I stayed on this preset, I think an afternoon. Measured it. And then I did it by ear. It's kind of a lot. Let's try that. Here. Usual here. Can I say something? This is an amazing moment because I think I did the right thing in having the guts to say, no, this cannot be after, or this has to be in place. Gives us the opportunity to comment on it. The better maker is good. The better maker is good. So, but in its settings, because this is the preset I've used, I mean, we could tweak it. It's bringing away the feeling of techno. Okay, so if you want to tell your friends, co-workers that you have a tune on Beatport, that while they're programming the new mobile phone game in Berlin, they can listen to it with earpods, better maker. Like, this is not an offense. This is a compliment. Like, it completely packs it. It is the Beatport version of Mike's song. I hope, and I know there's people watching, and there's going to be people watching in the future that are going to laugh at what I said. It is the truth. Like, you're going to say, man, this is exactly what it sounds like. It is the Beatport version. To me. The collab version, like the real techno version, is the settings the bass processor has. Because it needs to breathe a lot. So, it's settings. They're both good. One is very, very precise, your parents would want it to be the better maker, but it's techno and you do the bass processor because otherwise, why would you be here? So, but now we're going to do what our parents want, which is the better maker, and we're going to sabotage it. How good is that? We're going to make it sound closer to the techno feel. Mostly I'm thinking the attack is too fast. The release is too slow, or maybe a little bit too slow, and maybe we need to knead down. Let's try that. Here, always from here. It doesn't do it. The better maker was pumping too much to your ears. Okay, you know what it's doing actually right now, and I'm trying to find the reason for it. It's cutting bass out of the extreme lows. I've cut Mike's bass at 28 hertz. I don't know if you were still watching the past and then you skipped. It's 28 hertz by ear. I kind of found it there. And I still stand by it. It's sounding so powerful, but so in the club. It's just creating a bubble in here that's real techno kind of style. The better makers, like, here, this is useless. I want it to be up. And it's like, nope. I'm trying to find if there's a reason for it. It could be the HPF, but, I'm going to try that, Obviously, on the whole signal. Yeah, okay, well, this is not only sidechain. So, it is this thing. We found it. Okay, so we don't want to use any sidechain, and now I'm going to do it for real. We found why that was. We're high passing at 44. Okay, again. From here, muscle memory hasn't kicked in. I got it in the very end. Better. It's a pan of the day. No, yes. Better. A lot better. Okay? So now it's got the politeness and composure of somebody who did a lot of right things as a teenager, the way their parents wanted. And then by the 20s, because of their friends, got into a band. Actually, we're not talking about any person in particular. And his life was ruined. That's the better maker now. Before it was just like telling what other people wanted to hear it. I don't like it, but it is good. The bass processor that Softtube's done is just letting it go in some ways, and I'm not using nothing. You see, like there's no, it's like the tone shift. Is the tone shift here? Yes, okay, but I'm thinking this is not even really doing anything. I'm only engaging comp. So yes, it's fully linked. Yes, it's not low cutting. Okay, I'm darkening in the sidechain a little bit. Whether or not that has a lot of impact, I don't know. I'm not using air with nothing. Like it's the least you can do. There's tons more you can do. But well, now there could be a client that wants the better maker. I'm thinking. But it still vibes a lot with the Softube. But I'm confident if I had, a week more, a month more with these, getting used to it, it's beautifully kind of portrayed, I think, the mix. It's still dark, it still moves, but it's a little bit more expensive, a little bit less underground, which the Softube doesn't generate the underground, it just preserves it. The better maker makes it better, but that better, it's so religious, it's so, just a Sunday thing for an hour. I don't know, you have to have it in here, it's not just, that hour. So, but both are good now. Do we keep them both? I'm going to keep the bass processor just because that's what we started with. But we should save a preset of this. We should save these as Alberto's because I'm taking credit for it. Dark Techno Bass. Okay, so we have it because why not? That's the settings. But I am going to keep it off. And that's where you make a lot of mistakes. And the bass processor is going to be on. Okay. So it keeps the latency, but it goes away from our CPU. So that's good. We're floating at a nice 32, 33% at 512. There's all of my effects minus a couple cents because I cannot have as many. But, there's not a lot of tracks. We didn't do a lot of work. But that was pretty much the same with the other song Mike sent us. So what was it that I wanted to do? Okay, I had an idea for the buses here, the alls, because honestly, we could flare it. You remember we did flare it? So I'm going to take the beats at the very end. No, not the beats actually. The kicks are fine. I'm going to take the grooves and right before we hit the... right after we kick the sidechain. So I'm gonna do it from completely after. I'm gonna take this unbelievable plugin. It keeps on giving. So I don't know if I want to limit. I'm gonna try and flare because it's flare. So I'm gonna flare the grooves. Okay, let's see what we can do and how it sounds. Hi Marco, hi guys, I'm late today, just woken up from my afternoon nap. All right, That's this is one of the many risks of afternoon naps, but nothing is as worst of all of the downsides that waking up and not knowing which planet it is, which year it is, and whether or not everybody around you died and you're the last man in the world is definitely my worst of the afternoon nap down side effects. Then there's also oversleeping. That's true. Bad news, Marco. It's my music again. Yes. Man, I'm loving Flare. It's giving those transients the right placement, and I cannot stress it enough on any compressor. The attack on such detailed movements will give you the movement, the position at which the fast transients are allowed to reach the audience. And there is never any good in just saying, I want to just send it to the audience. No, it's got to be tailored. And I think 7 milliseconds here really works well. So we flared the grooves. It's very rare that flare does not do anything, especially at very low ratios. So now I'm gonna take these synths and I'm gonna flare them again. You notice how I like to do it post sidechain? I think it hides the sidechain pumping, but it preserves it somehow. So, okay. So how about this one? Here, we do it pretty much here. No limiter. Afternoon nap, says James. What year is it? That's the question I ask myself after every afternoon nap I've taken in my life, and I took 3 so far since I was born, because it's the worst. Waking up from an afternoon nap is the worst. So, man, flare. It's such a way to redesign the perception of levels in buses. This is becoming my stem, my cue thing. And I remind you that somebody on YouTube commented like, have you used Flare? And I was like, right, Flare. I did beta test it. I did use it, did love it, then forgot. I got too many things. So let me hear the breakdown here. Totally with. Why not? You know what? Yeah, I mean, it sounds fine. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to take this track. We're going to drop it down here because I was going to say it's disabled. So this is print Mixo 1. We call this print Mixo 2, no master. And what I would do is I would disable and mute and deactivate, make sure this track is not playing, although this comes after all the buses, so it's safe. I mean, you're not going to reprint it. Then we're going to select the same length. We're saving this, and we could just easily print it, okay? So I'm going to let it go for a while so that you're going to listen to it. Marco says, no idea what happened. I actually just wanted to lie down for a bit. That's usually what happens. You just want to lay down for a bit. But it was 2 p.m. Now it's already dark. Welcome to 2026. You are so close to New Year's Eve. You missed all the Christmas gifts. All right. We have it. Let's record. I am tempted to do one last thing. I have to do it. Okay. We did the vitalizer. Oh, I kept it on. No, I kept it on, but off. Okay. I want to alkane this. Here, if alkane can do just a little bit of magic, and I think I have a preset here. tape the Tangle mix bus. Right. Okay. Let me go dry wet 0. Let me hear this, and let me just find out if it's giving us something here. I knew this was gonna happen. I love the tape, and and it does 100% what happened when we printed to tape. For those months we had the 102 in studio in Berlin, we printed electronic music, techno included, through the tape deck, insanely maintained. Clients would pick, because we wanted to do promos of saying like, we can do this. Do you want to hear it? Do you want to buy it? Always picking the known tape version. And James says, on my AirPods, Alkane just opened the door to the mix. Absolutely. So step 1, the tape preset I had on the bass did exactly what tape does. Or in my opinion, what it did, in my experience actually, what it did. And then producers in electronica were like, it's nice, but it's shifting things. I like the bass to be more direct. So in this case, you can go off with the low cut, off with the resonance, so on and so forth, and you're no longer introducing that. I know this preset, I've calibrated it on Plugin Doctor. I know what it does as well. And there's obviously phase rotation and stuff. It makes it into tape, but I gotta be honest with you, this feels like a very, very good calibrated tape machine. This is good. Okay, then there was a little bit too much thud. That would be the bump. The shine is kind of like the air and stuff. It was okay. I mean, it was really good, but I was thinking it shifts the mix somewhere else. Some producers might love it. Others might say, no, I like it drier digital. Then I went to this synth thing, and I've done an entire masterclass that you can find on my Patreon, and I know these models. I know these plugins very, very well, and I knew that synth would have had that thing on the shine especially. Man, this thing. It was just a matter of finding the dry wet, and it opened the door. As James said, it opened the door to the mix. Like, it's the same deal, but like Ableton lost a faucet from which the water couldn't really get through as pure and unconstrained. This is now, a bigger cable now. I don't know. It sounds like a better converters, better cables, better, through an emulation of a 12-bit Akai synth. But Techno does this. So I like it. This is what we're doing. I'm going to go back to bar 1 and we print it, and that's it. Then I'm going to reach maybe half of the song. I don't know. We'll see where we are because it's already kind of late. And then I'm just going to say goodbye. Don't take afternoon naps, don't nap and drive, of course. Don't nap and mix. Here we go. Okay, and then we get to the end. It's gonna restart because I'm always keeping the loop. Stop it, undo. You're just removing the additional take. Save and rename this thing. Rename print underscore NSD mix 02 no master 4824. Save. You guessed it. You want to work on these the next day, next time, whatever. Save live set as mix mics S&D blah 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 mix 03, and you keep going. Okay, remember this setup allows you to have the input monitoring on to listen to the mix, or the monitoring to off to listen to what you printed, which we did before, and we found out that Ableton Live is like it sounded one-on-one. Comments on this. I absolutely love it. So it's definitely a mix 2 to me. Like, I hear where the improvements are because, I mean, we worked on it right off the bat. I think it's a matter now, the next steps would be to automate some of the stuff to have them eased in and out, especially in that overhead track, just a little bit darker, then a little bit, moving in. But when the setup happens, it's open, it's nice. And I'm going to tell you one thing that is my opinion. You might disagree with me. This type of slower, darker techno is 100% about the space in between. You might think it's about the beat. It's actually about the backbeat of the backbeat. Do I make sense? So it is that end that is really the air that you must, in my opinion, be able as a mixing engineer to get, as a composer first, and then as an engineer to emphasize. You really need to be able to see that air right there, right down there. It is dark. It's a club thing, so you can imagine, but you need to hear it and feel it. As much as people concentrate, I've done the same mistake many times. I mean, it is still important to deal with the beats, but it's the movement letting off the beats that to me is really important in this type of music. If you flatten that out, have you heard how Mike has done a game of kick and bass that is never pushing the same on, say, 1 and 3? It's got a different thing, and in electronic music this is very important because it gives variety without changing things too much. This mix preserves it, and it kind of still gives that air back. The details are open. It's just, again, because you listen to, you react, you do the least moves possible. I'm liking this a lot. I still believe that for a collab mix, like if these had to go played in a collab, especially if it is Berlin and stuff, we would need to kind of let the bass breathe a little bit more because they tend to kind of push them. So it will be too much, okay? Especially if it is vinyl, I'm just dreaming, right? Daydreaming. But like for a file, for how it's bouncing back to me, I like that a lot. So thank you, Mike, for sending us this. Thank you, Marco, James, all the other people that were here before. I don't want to miss other people, so I'm just going to go back up in the chat. Dad Miko, thank you very much for being here. And I started out pretty lonely today, but that was a good thing. So, I mean, it was a good thing because you had other things to do. This is going to get recorded anyway. People are going to watch it. But great tune, different vibe from 2 weeks ago, different vibe from the industrial rock we did, synth rock we did last week. And again, same principle, different plugins this time, but the principle is the same. We go a little bit backwards, we find what's the priority, and we listen and we try to make things work. So we don't overdo it for sure. And we look at what's not obvious about the beat, which, as I said, in this genre, it's the air in between the beats. Very important to preserve it. That's where you feel the techno there, not on the real beat. So check out my Patreon. I know people in here already know, but if you're watching this, you have no idea why you stumbled on these videos because all you wanted to see is reptiles landing on Earth. Well, those videos are there, but on my Patreon, we do a lot of music production that the reptilians love. They said if they had the money to do it, they become patrons. So check it out, before the world gets taken over. And if you just want to support the channel, do it, okay? There's also Ares, which is the analog remote enhancement service that you're going to find shorts, reels, videos on. I'm not going to bother you about. You know the links where they are. I'm just going to let you go in what is the real weekend of 2025 and 2026. Friday is overrated. Thursdays are where the weekend starts, okay? So I hope you have a good one. See you around on Discord. Take a look at what I do. I hope you enjoyed the mix. See you on Monday for Modular Mondays. Ciao.